Adrian, what needs fixing, Adrian?
Another lower back.
Right, okay,
Got a 17-degree curvature left to right.
right,
The sort of 5 vertebrae down the bottom from
Right.
a car accident when I was 19 and just misalignment, one leg shorter than the other, so it's thrown me out of balance in the spine.
right, okay. Cool, so I'm gonna get you just to stand here and we'll, now, I've noticed they've put my legs quite wide apart, so if you can stand with
Okay,
your feet
yep.
like that. Now, usually if you go to see somebody to fix your back, they will lay you down, yeah? And then you can't see what is actually happening with the back because you're laid down. Yeah? Chiropractors, osteopaths, usually you're going to be laying down, aren't you? But these surgeons like working with you stood up. Did a show in Whangarei just I think it was Friday night. Wasn't long ago. Thursday night it must have been. The guy was so tall I had to stand on chairs.
I think you should have one at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. Luckily it's his lower back. If I had to work on his neck, he'd be sat in a chair, yeah. Now if we go back to that accident when you were 19, was there anybody at fault with that accident?
Yes.
Who was at fault?
The driver of the motor vehicle.
Right, okay. Just notice when you think about that, where the energy is stored in your body when you think about his negligence. Yeah, whereabouts in your body are you storing that energy?
In my shoulders.
Right, cool. So I'm going to release that in just a moment. See, one of the things that can happen, there we go, one of the things that can happen is, I'll use a different example. Imagine you scold yourself. The first thing most of us do is we're cross with ourselves for being clumsy, for not noticing. And before we even go to get the cold water to put on the burn or the scald, we've already sent negative energy to ourselves, and that negative energy can get in the way of the healing. And when something like this happens and it's clearly somebody's fault, we can hold on to that. Now I'm just going to share with you a story from my life, okay? Because I'm an expert in my life, not in anybody else's. I was at the healing centre I got in Inglewood, and I just got another of my clients come in and say they were cancer free. And as I walked from the healing room to the kitchen, I was just thinking, I'm amazing. And a voice said to me quite clearly, you either accept responsibility for all of it or for none of it. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Well, so for that person to find you 6 months ago, you would have had to create the phone book. You would have had to build this building that you saw them in. You would have had to invent the telephone. You know, you either accept responsibility for all of it. Ouch, that is so hurting me. Is that hurting you at all? That's painful. It's not usually painful. I'm just going to, it's like my whole hand is cramping. You've either got to accept responsibility for all of it or none of it. So for somebody to come to me for healing, I had to become a healer. I had to have certain, and I have to be responsible for all of that, which clearly I'm not. So I said, okay, well, I'm not responsible for it. And it's like, well, correct answer, yeah. Right, so, for that accident to happen, somebody had to invent the motor car. And was it a motor car that went quite fast?
It was probably going as fast as it could.
As it could, yeah. But somebody had to make a motor car and make it go that fast to cause the accident. Somebody had to build the road. If they hadn't built such fast roads, if we were still on dirt tracks, this accident wouldn't have happened. So as much as part of us blames that one person that was driving too fast or driving recklessly, there's other factors. There's the car manufacturers, there's the people that built the road, you know, whether there was street lighting there or not, yeah? So just try moving around now and just see how you feel. How are we doing?
Okay.
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 Pain-wise, is it diminished at all?
Slightly.
Left turn.
Cool. Yeah, so keep facing that way.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. So if we apply this to your life, you either accept responsibility for all of it or for none of it. There were so many factors. You know, the education you received wasn't about whether you studied hard at school or not, wasn't about whether you were bright or not. You know, you may have lived in an area where there only was that one school. It might have been a good school or a not so good school. You might have got a parent that taught you to read and write before you went to school or not. Mum and Dad might have had to work all the hours God sent and not have the time. Can you see that you either accept responsibility for all of it or none of it? So we are not in charge. We are not in control. But we can be present, we can be aware, we can do our best in any situation. As it goes in, I don't feel the sound hitting his body. I feel the sound going into the body and like being in the chamber of the body, and I feel the sound bouncing off like internal organs. And then I feel some of the sound passing through and some of the sound gets rejected, so your body will only take the sound that it needs. Right, have another walk around and just see how that feels. Starting to smile. How's it feeling?
Good.
Good?
Yeah, good.
If we started with a 10, where are we now?
4.
Cool. Right, now face that way again. There's going to be more sound. Notice I don't try hard to fix somebody. There's no attempt on my part to fix. I have an intention that they get well, and I hand over to the surgeons to do what they do. But my main purpose is to help you guys see what is possible and to help you understand how it all works. Now, sometimes as I pull energy out, I can feel sick. I'm sure you've all had that experience where pain has got so bad you just feel nauseous. And now he's showing me working on, you know, if you had like a frayed cotton, the fibres of a cotton that were frayed, that's what he's working on, and that's to do with nerves, I would say, in this part of the body that he's now working on. We are about to go through such exciting times on the earth. The shift is a leap. It's not a small step for humankind, it's a leap, and it's an evolutionary leap that is equivalent to a rock becoming a crystal and a reptile becoming a bird. Alright, another walk around. Again, I've got some pain, but not like I did have last time, just in a couple of fingers. getting better and better.
It's getting better,
Yeah.
definitely.
Where are we now?
2.
2, right, and then face that way again. Now, any injuries to your head?
To my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember what happened and when?
I was knocked out, so yeah, it was a high impact. I was crushed down the left side
Yeah.
and had a renal contusion and I was knocked out, so yeah.
Yeah, I can pick that up in the energy field. You see that he's had a bad. So what's happening here? How does this work? As much as like the invisible beings that are doing this work through me, they've been doing this for 25 years. So in that time, I've sort of gleaned some information. Sometimes I add the dots together wrong, and then they go like this while I'm talking to shut me up. They've not had to do that of late, but it's all about vibration. Everything. It's all about energy. It's all about vibration. And so, imagine crossing a road, and as you cross the road, you hear a you hear a car, and you think there's going to be an impact, and you hold your breath ready for impact, yeah? So, when you hold your breath ready for impact, what happens is on all your bones there's like a sheath that becomes taut that will then help bounce off any impact. Now, if the impact comes unexpectedly, if you don't know, usually that's harder for me to fix than one where you know, because your body's got ready for it. Now, in that scenario where you're crossing the road, you're holding on to stuff, when those same cells feel this vibration going through them, they're like, oh, what's that? And they vibrate along with it. And then they realise, oh, hang on, what was it I was holding on to? It's that simple. It's that simple. It's like, you know, healers like me have been around for years, and yet we're still doing pharmaceutical drugs. It's weird. Right, walk around again. You are walking better. You see the difference? Yeah? How's that feeling?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where do we score-wise now?
1.5.
Cool. Right. Another 1.5, eh? So when you take a knock, your bodies can hold it. When I've worked on like sports people, like athletes that, you know, rugby players or mostly rugby players that have taken knocks, their legs are like bloody concrete. And it's not just hard muscle from being at the gym, it's like every knock they've ever taken makes their body heavier. And the nearest I can explain it to you guys is, you know, if you stub your toe and it hurts like hell, and then within 10 minutes you stub it again, it's almost like it was heavier and it dragged along and kicked. Once you've stubbed your toe, just be really super careful, because you're going to stub it again and again and again, because it's like heavy. And as a healer, what you can do is you can lift the leg that's had the knock, and it'll feel much heavier than the leg that hasn't had a knock. It's absolutely bizarre. Now, using this sound and taking it down the spine just to see what else is locked in here. Personally, I'm a big fan of yoga. I reckon probably everybody over 40 needs to do some yoga for suppleness. Yeah? A lot of tasks that we do, whether we're driving a car, sitting at a computer, sat at a desk, we're like bent over, and we need the opposite. We need the opposite, yeah? We need to be able to bend backwards, and yoga's the best modality I know for giving us that. All right, now this next bit's a little bit weird, all right, but this is what I'm seeing. This is something that's in your past, and it was a time where you took some money from someone, or for something, and with hindsight you wish you hadn't. Can you place what that is? And you don't have to tell the audience what it is, but it's just a time where you wish you'd not done that. You know, it was a mistake, but that's locked in the spine. Is that ringing bells with you? Yeah.
Sure does.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, look, it's only a mistake if you don't learn from it. Yeah? You wouldn't do it again because it left you with a not good feeling. Yeah? Yeah, so it's only a mistake if you do it a second time. Isn't that good to know? My guide said there are no mistakes here, there is only learning. There's only learning, guys, so don't worry about making mistakes. That's how you're going to learn. Right, walk around a bit, see how that feels.
Good.
Pretty
Thank
good.
you.
Awesome. Brilliant.
Awesome, thank you.